Welcome to Quilting on the Side, the podcast where we uncover the secrets to turning your passion for quilting into a profitable side hustle.
I'm Tori from the Quilt Patch by Tori.
And I'm Andi from True Blue Quilts. And together, we're your co-hosts on this exciting journey of creativity, entrepreneurship, and all things quilting.
We're here to help you navigate the world of quilt pattern design, course creation, digital marketing, and running an online quilt business. We've been through the ups and downs ourselves, so we know what it takes to make money from your favorite hobby.
That's right, Tori. We're going to share our experiences on how we've grown our businesses while balancing family with other paying work responsibilities. It's not always easy, but it's definitely possible. Welcome back to another episode of Quilting on the Side, and this is our celebration, whoop whoop, season 3. Congratulations, big pat on the back, Tori, for hanging in there through busy life as wife, mom, entrepreneur, employee, all that good stuff.
Same to you, Andi. Big pat on the back for getting through your daughter going to college, and you're also busy life with being an entrepreneur and an employee. I was trying to remember exactly how you said that. The employee.
It feels like we're wearing all the different hats. So we like to close out each of our seasons with a recap episode, and you've really embraced this idea of reflection. So how does that impact your business life to take these recap moments and periods?
Well, reflection for me, when I sit down and I think about everything that I've accomplished, it gives me a moment to celebrate, like kind of like what we're doing right now. To look back and remember the lessons that I learned as we went, because we're learning along with you guys, our audience, when we're interviewing our guests. They have amazing insight, amazing expertise, experience. So taking a moment to reflect, I think, and looking back at what this season had to offer and the lessons learned can make me pause and really think about what's next. So I learn, and then we can refresh. I think is a good word for it. Refresh, and then keep moving. And being an entrepreneur can be hard. Can be very hard, and it feels very lonely. And reflection is another way that you can not only celebrate, but also take a moment to realize there are other people here with you, and we're cheering you on every step of the way. And we want to help you moving forward too. But Andi, do you have anything to add for reflection? What does it do for you?
Yeah, I totally agree. It really gives you that learn and grow aspect. We always want to be improving. And you really need to, especially if you feel like you are not meeting all your goals as quickly as you want to, it's really beneficial to take that long-term view and look back and say, wait a minute, look how far I've actually come. You know, when we started this, we were like, oh, is anybody going to listen? And we're already at almost 400 downloads per episode. So that's tremendous growth in just this little adventure of trying to reach out to the quilting community. And this ties in perfectly if we look back at our first guest of season 3 was Dara Thomason, and she is the quilter's coach. And so she always wants us to celebrate our progress, and you do that by reflecting on the journey as well. So what do you remember about Dara's episode?
I remember Dara being such a light, and she gave us exercises, like practical exercises to go through. And I think that she is a powerful voice in the quilting industry to talk about mindset and what comes along with that, which is in some cases weight loss, but just really building a better life for yourself. And then the consequence of that, which is a positive consequence, is a healthier lifestyle. And I really love her position on that, and her presence in the quilting world as a long arm quilter. She's just so much fun.
Yeah, I always get a boost when I spend time with Dara. So I encourage everybody to revisit that episode and stay in touch with Dara Thomason. And we also got to talk to another light in the quilting industry, and that was Paula Chamberlain.
Yes. Oh my gosh, Paula. I love listening to how Paula just kind of embraced podcasting as a way to record history and stories. And I love her kind approach, and her demeanor is so relaxing. And I love her podcast to just have on in the background while I'm working. It's just a wonderful, she's a wonderful presence as well. And Andy, what do you remember most about Paula and her?
I really enjoyed hearing her perspective of wanting to give back to the quilting industry. And she's completely embraced the hobby aspect of having a quilter's life as her podcast. She is not interested in monetizing, and yet she's really devoted to making those connections. And as uh, side hustle people here, you and I, and wanting to put the spotlight on some of these smaller businesses, it's really encouraging to have her acceptance of this type of endeavor, that it's not all about going for those really high numbers and top levels. She just wants to contribute in a really meaningful way. And that was encouraging to me.
I totally agree. I totally agree. That makes me think of our next guest. It leads right into him, who was, I think, our first male.
Mm-hmm.
Besides my husband, we did a one with my husband. But
But your husband's not a quilter. So
yes,
Sean
that's
was
true.
the first male quilter we had on the podcast.
Yes, he was Sean from The Guy Who Sews. He was so much fun. I know he started a similar way where he just wanted accountability for his own projects. What do you remember about Sean, Andy?
Oh, Sean is a wonderful human being, and it's so gratifying to be able to highlight the diversity in our quilting community. And Sean had some really good tips on starting a YouTube channel and just embracing the craft, and even that kind of messy middle when you're not really the expert, but everybody has something to contribute and share. And I think that is a beautiful aspect of our quilting community. One of the things that Sean likes to do is sew the puzzle mystery quilts
Yeah.
from cotton cuts. And we were able to also talk to Kim, who founded Cotton Cuts. So tell us about her conversation.
Oh, that was so funny. We interviewed Kim, and then I think the next week we interviewed Sean, and that's kind of the order it fell with interviewing. And then it was really cool to see both sides of a business, and then how the business reaches out to smaller entrepreneurs like Sean and works together. But Kim specifically, I loved her vision, how she brought her experience in to build a business, and how she has so many systems, like, I won't say perfectly in place, but from an outsider's perspective, it seems like her systems are perfected. And that's why her business grew as fast as it did. Well, not one reason why it grew as fast as it did, and she was able to keep up with production, is because she was so good at systematizing and setting all that up. And that's the thing I still remember is systems, because I hear about systems within the business world, like systems are important, systems, you need systems. And I could never really put that concept into reality, or not never, but like it was a
Mhm.
little bit harder. Then talking to Kim, I'm like, oh, there's an example. There's a concrete example I can grab onto and hold on to. And I'm thinking about systems and how critical they are. And I loved her story as well, how she grew the business so quickly. And I love how she kept her favorite part for herself. That still sticks with me. Like, she still keeps her favorite part of the business for herself, which, if I remember correctly, it was picking the fabrics, right? Picking the
Mhm.
color combinations for the next Cotton Cuts mystery.
Yeah, yeah. Like you said, I think it is so valuable to get those concrete examples and take that peek behind the scenes to see how this major endeavor works, because running 2 10-month long subscription boxes basically with the puzzle mystery quilt, and then she's got several other product lines with other pre-cut fabric kits, with other monthly subscriptions, and to keep that all running smoothly, it was really neat to get that understanding. So definitely a successful business model. And like you said, those systems that make everything run smoothly are so critical. And then we looked at, or had the opportunity to talk to another business owner who features physical products, and that was the bubbly, delightful Kate from Quilt with Miss Kate.
Oh, Kate was so fun. I feel like she's almost, and I mean this in a really great way, but opposite of Kim, where she
Mm-hmm.
was kind of going with the flow, talking with her audience and playing with what she wanted to do and building it based off of feedback, which is exciting. It's not as systematized as Kim's was. And that's what I mean by like opposite. But it's working, and it looks like it's so much fun for her, and it looks like it is just she looks like she's blossoming out of it, and it looks from this side just wonderful to watch her grow. And it was so fun to listen to her tips and tricks about Instagram, how just set up the phone, start talking to it. I've been trying to do a little bit more of that. One of my goals for, well, I haven't made goals yet, but I'm thinking about them, is I need to show up more on video in 2025 somehow. I haven't quite figured it out yet, but that's kind of playing in my mind. But it's because of what Kate said, where she said she just sets up her phone and talks to it. Like, she's like, it's not that scary, just do it. So I was just like, she's right. And I catch myself, and I think a lot of our listeners do as well, catch themselves overthinking. And I see it in my clients and my members of DMMC, the Digital Marketing Magic community, and I tell them the same advice that I would tell myself, which is stop overthinking it. And use Kate's words and say, just set up the phone and start talking to it. The more you do it, the easier it goes. And I found that way with teaching recordings. But when it comes to being live or posting where the world could potentially see it, it gets a little more overwhelming, and I get a little more overthinking.
Yeah, Kate had great lessons to just do it, put yourself out there. There are people who will connect with you, and that's the wonderful thing about social media, is it fosters those connections. You can find your people, and yeah, so it was really fun to get Kate's perspective on building a cottage industry, a home-based business with physical products, and it's been fun to watch her business grow. And taking a total tangent, totally different aspect of the quilting world, is our guest Annette Wagner, who actually teaches quilting in a high school.
As a
So
contracted teacher. Like, that is so cool.
yeah, she developed this whole curriculum for a kind of a home ec type life skills class, but really based in sewing and quilting. And so we had a lot of fun just hearing how quilting can impact different generations and different communities. So, other thoughts about Annette's quilting teaching experience?
I love first how she was just kind of offered it from the superintendent. I like, I thought that was so cool. And I think that that's a powerful lesson for those of us that are hesitant to share. Because if nobody knows you quilt, nobody could offer that to Annette if they didn't know that she quilted. And sharing your talents with the world can really open up some doors. I think that's one little nugget. And another one that I got from her was how quilting developed a community inside her classroom. Like her classroom became a community center centered around quilting. And that's a lesson that we can not just have in a classroom. We can take that outside of the classroom and work with our community to, well, create a community, like an actual hub where people want to come and sew and share and learn all together. And if high school students can do it, then like adults can do it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And another place to find community or to create these quilt groups is with a retreat. And we had so much fun talking to Tabitha, the quilt retreat queen. And I'm stumbling over those words, but she was another great guest and another uh, different aspect of the quilt industry is this retreat niche.
Yeah, Tabitha was really fun. Tabitha gave us a really cool insight to what it was like to plan and host a retreat, and listen about how she found help, like in her with her daughter. She found help where she could to help build up her business, and it sounds like they're having a blast over there. I saw their list of events for next year, and they look like they have at least two a month all year. And so it looks like it's doing great having this retreat center for her. And I hope that it is doing amazing. What do you remember from Tabitha, Andy?
Tabitha gave us a really good roadmap for building a retreat center specifically, but just in terms of business growth with having her plan. You know, she knew from the beginning that she wanted to run a retreat center, and then getting out and using some word of mouth advertising and in-person events when she went to craft shows and talked about her retreat center, the importance of an email list to keep in contact with her community. And like you said, getting the help. Her daughter, who really has a head for business and marketing, it partners with her vision of running the retreat center. So it really was a good conversation in terms of business building tips. And then we were also able to talk to Jen and Macy of the Loose Ends Project, and that was such a heartfelt episode.
It was. It was. They are amazing. And what they built is amazing.
Yeah, to really take this idea of finishing other people's craft projects and building up this whole nonprofit organization. So just the paperwork and organization that you need to do to be an official, 503c nonprofit is impressive. And the connections that they built, the network, the computer matching aspect of, of managing these databases for crafters that have the ability to do the different techniques, whether it's knitting, crochet, needlework, quilting, all that kind of stuff, and then find the people, the families that may have lost a loved one that have these unfinished projects. They are truly angels.
Well, I think that their episode really highlighted asking as well. Like we've had several this season about when you ask, you shall receive. That
Yes.
old, yeah. So it's they ask for funding. They ask for what do you call it? Public relations when you're reaching out and
Yeah,
yeah,
they've
you
talked to they talk to the media.
media.
They talk about their efforts whenever they have the opportunity, and it just there's business lessons in that too, even though they are
Yeah.
in the nonprofit space. So
And
it was
that's how they got the help for the app, and that's how they got the help to get the word out, and that's how they got they said a local publication they asked to be covered. And then the Wall Street Journal, I think it was the Wall Street Journal, they said,
Or the
we go back and
Washington
listen.
Post. I'm
Washington
sure
Post.
they've
I
been
know it's a
featured
W.
in many.
It probably has been, from the way they spoke, that it just kind of picked up from there and it built momentum. And it all started with just asking, like just reaching out and asking. And Joanne's reached out to them after hearing about them. So it's just, I think there's power in asking. And I think that's what I'm trying to get at, is that
Mhm.
we sometimes silo ourselves, whether on purpose or on accident, and just reaching out and asking for help in your community, talking about what you do can bring help to you, much like their neighbor knowing how to set up an app. And they brought the app in and he was able to help them construct this app to help, like you said, with the network they built. So I think that that's a powerful lesson as well from Loose Ends. It's this beautiful story and this lesson of community and
Yeah.
networking, and then
Yeah.
sticking with your grand vision and keep working.
Yeah, definitely. So many good reminders as we've looked back over season 3. And we definitely want to hear from our audience. So, in the Apple podcast and Buzzsprout, they have buttons, is what I'm trying to get at. Whatever app you're on, there's a button to contact us. You can always find us at quiltingontheside.com, and you can leave comments there on our website if you have questions about anything business related. We also, when we were looking at ways to foster our community and grow this podcast effort, we started a Patreon group. So tell everybody where they can find us on Patreon, Tori.
Yeah, Patreon. We started a community to help answer your questions, to help with those of you that come to our planning sessions. You've asked for accountability, for year-long accountability, and we've worked this into Patreon as well. So our Patreon community is called Quilting on the Side. It is only $5 a month. That's our lowest, and that is friends of the podcast. Or for $15 a month, you also get access to a few more things like a live question and answer with Andi and I. Every month we host this. So whatever questions you have, if you need business feedback, marketing feedback, you need someone to bounce ideas off of, you have a whatever it is. We have
Mhm.
so much experience in all these different places when it comes to business building and the quilting industry that we are open books at these question and answer sessions. So they're all about keeping you moving forward and getting those questions answered so that you can move forward. Like one of our latest ones, we had a community member come with questions about quilt-alongs. We both hosted quilt-alongs and been inside quilt-alongs. So we were able to kind of give her the ins and outs and what she needs to prepare for. And then we actually, ironically, that was a week before our quilt-along episode came out. So we're like, hey, also look for this episode. I also created a guide just for our Patreon members. So inside Patreon, after you pay your $5 to get in, you will get so many more resources that come along with our podcast. We have several guides that I just mentioned. One was quilt-alongs, one is year-long planning, and there's a few more in there that you can get in there and really take advantage of the resources that we've built to help you build up your business. And along with those question answers and our chats, and we have a lot of fun with our Patreon, and we hope to see you inside.
Yeah. So for people that may not be familiar, Patreon is a separate website, and it is a great way to build community and it can also be another income stream for businesses. So you may see a lot of YouTube people that mention their Patreon and they have exclusive content, because that's always the challenge, is you want to give value to your audience, and having these different tiers of membership on Patreon really allows us to connect in different ways and meet the needs of our different audience members. So
You
we hope to
and
see you
your needs.
soon in the Patreon community.
Yeah, we want to help you guys. And we really want to take the time to answer your questions. And One more benefit I want to throw out there, Andi, before we wrap this up, is that it takes us off of the main social media platforms. We don't want you to be building your business in between political ads and in
Mhm.
between what your Aunt Becky did last week. We want to have a dedicated place for you to go in and out of. So you're not constantly thinking about business. You know when it's time to do your business work, you jump into a business community where you can focus and then you can leave. And that
Mhm.
way you have the mental space to separate business from your private life so you can have a break. But also, like Andi said, it's a great place to come and help support our podcast. And we're again, it's so much fun over on Patreon. It's very intuitive. If you've never joined Patreon, it feels a lot like a Facebook group. It's very intuitive and easy to navigate. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out.
Of course. And another way to connect and interact, we are thrilled, so thrilled to be together in February 2025 at QuiltCon. And we decided that we would offer an event for quilt business owners, for solopreneurs. Let's all get together and do some planning at the Audacious in-person event. So, Tori, give us the details.
So Audacious is coming in person to Phoenix, Arizona on February 19th, which is the day before QuiltCon opens its doors. So if you're coming for QuiltCon, you can book an extra day, stay and come work on your business and then go enjoy QuiltCon. So we have a 1-day intensive where we're going to take one of your offers and help you plan it for 2025. So as you know, marketing is one of the biggest hurdles in business, and we want to help set you up for success. So we're going to, and I have it pulled up here. So let me move down here, but we're going to help you with picking which is going to be your main offer. If you're stuck on which one's going to, on what you want to offer next year, we're going to help. We're going to help you outline your social media and get it ready because it will be reusable throughout the year. We're going to help you with your email campaigns. We're going to outline them and write them so that all you have to do is tweak them and send them out. And then we're going to offer a time to create visuals. So picture
Mm-hmm.
taking, and we're going to do like reels, and we're going to make friends, and we're going to have lunch catered. And so that way we can focus on one day to get your marketing plan in order for one main business offer. And now that can be, if you're a long arm quilter offering services all year long, we can help you outline what that's going to look like for you, what emails you can send out to keep your audience nice and warm. If you're a pattern designer, there's a repeatable system you can use for your emails whenever you launch a pattern. So it'll help you with that. And then we'll take visuals so that way, next time you create a quilt, you have a visual template. So, we took a picture of the whole quilt. Now we took a picture of the corner. Now we took a picture of the back. Now we did this with it. Now we did that with it. And then you can kind of play with that. You can recreate it with this new quilt, or you can change it up however you want. But at least it gives you a template that you can reuse throughout the year to make it easy for you to market, so you can focus on making those patterns beautiful and professional, making those quilts picture perfect, and not worrying about your marketing because it's pretty much handled because you've already got it outlined for the entire year. That's the goal for Audacious 2025.
Oh, Tori, it sounds so much fun. I am excited, like you said, to have those reusable assets, to have an email sequence drafted that I can plug and play, like you said, tweaking whenever I need it. Having those social media visuals, it is so hard to set up the camera, make sure that I've got the correct angle. So just having someone else hold the camera and film me, let's get some B-roll, let's get some generic shots that we can use throughout the year. I'm local in Phoenix, so I will have the quilt rack. I will bring a sewing machine that we can set up as a prop. So it's going to be such a great event. And you can sign up for Audacious in person at the Quilting on the Side website. And we have early bird pricing through December 31st. So don't hesitate. Don't wait too long to sign up. And we are so excited to see everyone in February 2025. What a great discussion. If you enjoyed this episode of Quilting on the Side, please leave us a review on whichever platform you're listening. It can be iTunes, Spotify, or even our YouTube channel.
And hit the subscribe button so you don't miss our next chat. Until then, remember to have fun in your business and do a little quilting on the side.